You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are
Lootcrate
family, and it is time to discuss everything that happened in WWE Payback. I think it was a pay-per-view that overall was decent. Average at most, not extremely terrible, not extremely good. But in my predictions, I was really off, Jean-Paul.
Yeah,
I wasn't legit predicting this time.
No, I mean, hey, you got to listen to the best booker in the business. But I actually wasn't, the best predictions either, because I didn't think that WWE, which was, stupid on my part, I didn't think they were going to put a whole pay-per-view together to just get Roman Reigns the championship. I'm like, no, they're going to drag this out, whatever. No, they did it. And, the person who had the best predictions was Ryan Whitman. So he can come claim his belt next time he's on. Until then, I will be holding on to the championship belt.
That's what we're going to do, because he's not here. He's here in spirit. But once he's able to be here with us, he can claim his belt. In the meantime, Jean-Paul will polish it. But I think that, overall, like I said, it was an average show, right? It wasn't extremely bad. We're not sour about this.
It's hard to say right now. I gotta wait to till Friday comes around. I mean, the women's tag team champions, them losing, I'm like, okay, Lashley winning, it's like, okay, that's good.
So
yeah. So I was good on them. It's just really the main event. I mean, the way they did it and everything, it was good. I'm just the Fiend. Why did you have? Which I mean, I can say it now. I guess why did you have him win it? It should have been Roman came out at SummerSlam and somehow made it a DQ, and then Braun Strowman could have still been champ and got pinned here. Why did the Fiend have to hold it for a week?
I know. It's just the people that kind of in the sources and everything that were saying that is the burial of the Fiend. There you go. Burial of the Fiend. Absolutely done.
Yep.
But John Paul even said he's going to be the top babyface. A lot of people are saying that. He's going to be the top babyface and Roman's going to be the top heel, and they're going to keep going at each other. So I guess
until Brock
will get the win.
Until Brock comes back, and then they have Paul Heyman on a pole match or whatever.
Yes.
And whoever climbs the ladder first takes down Heyman wins.
Pretty much. So, family, thank you so very much for watching every single one of our videos. There you go, Jean-Paul. Payback, ThunderDome, I think that, of course, the lining and all of that, it looks really cool. This time, we didn't get any funny stuff. We didn't get Kenny Omega. We didn't get any of that.
I was going to say, I think that was on Smackdown. It was Kenny Omega was watching. So that was pretty funny. Somebody said, they want to see what it's like to get, over 1 million viewers. That's why he was watching. But, no, tonight, the only thing I saw, not personally when I was watching, but a screenshot was Shinsuke Nakamura was watching. Because he was holding the tag team belt and everything. So that was pretty legit.
Yeah, exactly. At least they're supportive because, of course, they're not in the pay-per-view. But good stuff. Let's go jump on to the pre-show. Once again, thank you to everybody that's supporting these two charismatic guys. So, thank you again, family. The pre-show, it was the formally in renew form. They will say going back to be attacked. The Riott Squad, and that's Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott going again. Iconic. So they have this match they've been feuding for the past month on Monday Night Raw. So this time it was finally on pay-per-view, not on the real pay-per-view, but at least on the pre-show. And this match turned out to be average. We know what the Iconics are capable of doing. But I was looking forward to see a good showing of Liv Morgan, a little good, but she had a little thing. She got a botch in one of the spots. But overall, it was I think pretty decent. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, it was good just because the right team won. The baby faces actually won. They got a legit win, and they're the Riott Squad is back now. We're legit. Of course, the Iconics, the main thing, they were still trying to cause the dissension. I forget which one it was, if it was Billy Kay or Peyton Royce, but they hit Liv Morgan, and they tried to be no, it was Ruby who hit you. And it's okay, I know Liv is blonde, but is she really going to be that dumb? Thankfully, she wasn't, and there was no dissension. They ended up winning the thing, and commentary was really putting it over. Or not commentary, the panel after the match, JBL, Booker T, all that.
Yeah.
And I'm that was something where I'm okay, we usually never hear the panel comment, on a match on the actual, the main show of the pay-per-view, but it was man, they're really putting this match over. So, I guess that looks good for them. It's okay, there's a little bit of steam behind them. Like I said, I could see the Riott Squad maybe beating, our new tag team champs, just because I don't think they're going to be champs long. I think that story was just, There's a feud between Shayna and Nia in the works, I think, but who knows? Maybe they'll make them best friends, and who knows where they'll go.
Maybe they will make them the best tag of all time.
Exactly.
So you don't really know for sure, but in the end, when it comes to this match, like you said, like the Iconics get the end up losing. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, they do like a really cool pinning combination, and that was like kind of like Liv Morgan did it was like a code breaker, and then Ruby was able to hit like the Riott kick, and then they get the win, and like you said, they were celebrating big time. They were actually really happy, and they were selling it. Oh, we're finally a team again. We're people that didn't believe in us. We're finally again. We're together. We're ready to go. So that's the that's the picture that we get from the the Riott squad. So it was good, and that's how that was the pre-show that we got, and then. Payback opens up, and then we got the United States Championship match, and that was Apollo and Bobby Lashley. This match was exactly what I thought it was gonna be, because Apollo, of course, being athletic, being the guy can do the flips, can try to counter Lashley, but this time they did some justice to Bobby Lashley, because Lashley ends up becoming the new United States champion, and also he said it, in a tweet, in an interview, he said, finally, I'm not losing to guys that are, less my size.
Half his size, yeah.
So, it's good. And Lashley ends up becoming the new United States champion. He actually was able to apply the full Nelson. So, I really like that. And, MVP and Shelton Benjamin were, outside. So, good stuff. And I'm happy because we both predicted that was going to happen. Even Ryan, I think he predicted that.
Yeah, and this match to me was good in the sense where it's, like we said, Bobby Lashley, he comes out with the Hurt Business. They have their own theme. They're all wearing suits. They look legit.
Yeah.
And then Apollo Crews comes out, and his theme literally starts with some random guy. It could even be him yelling his name, and then it's just generic music. And it's this guy feels like a loser. And speaking about bad music, that's kind of like where Keith Lee's music is. But at least Keith Lee, doesn't portray himself like that. Apollo comes out, again, all smiles, all bullshit. And it's the fact that he lost in 5 minutes, at first I'm like, I don't like it because it makes the champion look weak. But, no offense to him, he was kind of a weak champion. His run was well-deserved because he's talent and he's put in the hard work. But he couldn't get himself over, I feel. Once he had the belt, he said, oh, this isn't over, Lashley. It's not over. And it's well, you tapped out like a bitch in 2 seconds after being in the lock. He could have passed out, which, is something that's been done, so does it really have effect anymore? But at least he wouldn't have submitted right away and then been talking shit. It's dude, you just tapped out. How tough can you really be? Lashley, the superior athlete, the superior wrestler, and I'm, happy that he's the champ because I think he can do more with that belt.
It is true. See, that's we have the picture of the Hurt. What is it? The Hurt
business.
The Hurt Business. There you go. The Hurt Business. These guys, like you said, see the suits I like because they look like a stable. They look good, and then they help each other out. Like you said, we saw that in Raw Underground, last week, and Lashley looked dominant. And this time, again, one more time, the story I think throughout the match is Apollo kept trying to counter the full Nelson lock. But once he had it on, and I really like the chokeslam that Lashley does because he does it and Apollo went really high and when he hit the cameras and everything, it was really devastating. I really like when he hit like that. When he hit the mat, it was good. And then the full Nelson, and like you said, pretty much Bobby Lashley becomes the United States champion. Finally, we hope that Lashley's gonna have more legitimacy because if they would have wanted to put the title, the WWE Championship on Lashley, I would not be upset. I would have been okay. Just because, the run that he's having, and you said this months ago, is finally you're doing some justice to what Bobby Lashley is, Jean Paul.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This run, I feel they're really, they love Drew McIntyre, they love Randy Orton, or at least, we thought they did, and then after tonight, who knows, maybe Keith Lee is now in the main event title picture, who knows what they're going to do, but I think Bobby Lashley is going to have that moment. At least I think he deserves it, because, and the way they're portraying him, he could even make that United States Championship mean more because it's hey, I'm a better and stronger champion than Drew,
And see, that's what you want. I feel that that is strongly what you need. You need and you want a strong champion, and Lashley can give you that. And you have a variety of baby faces. Use Mustafa Ali, use Ricochet, use Cedric Alexander, You use those guys to
we've seen Kevin Owens has been United States Championship a lot. We can have him. I don't know if Samoa Joe is returning at all, but that would be a good match. A little bit of TNA history. I don't know if they ever went against each other because I think Joe was already gone in this and that. But at least it's it's something cool to see.
Absolutely, I agree with it. See, so that was a decent opening of the pay-per-view. So now let's go to the second match, and this was goes mad, so it was the original from Riddle going against Baron Corbin. And see, this match was actually to me this was could have been a lot better, but we knew why. It ended up just pretty much very anticlimactic. He didn't even do the Bro Derek. He just did it was a Phoenix Splash. I'm there's a name for it.
He did the what was it, the falling bro or the twisting bro or something like that? Yeah. Now the one thing to make note of before the match, it was I think it was Kayla or somebody or there was a new
there's a new interviewer.
She asked Matt Riddle, was what's your match with Corbin? He's like, I'm finally going to put this King's Ransom shit behind me.
You want that example? Let's get it. Boom.
And she's like, Corbin said, I forget what he said, something about he's a failure in the ring, and we already know he's a failure at home. So bringing up the allegations and everything with Matt Riddle, and everything.
And right away he went down to the ring. Yes.
Yeah, you saw the mood change. That was cool. I like that because then it was intensity in this match. But I feel like the intensity was kind of there in the beginning, and then it just went so. And then it picked up a little bit at the end. But it was what it was. Like I said, Corbin is decent. He's solid, but you're never gonna watch a Baron Corbin match and pop. You're never gonna be this is exciting. And I think Matt Riddle, he's one of those guys where he needs to be in there with a guy like a Ricochet, an Adam Cole, a Roderick Strong, a guy who can really pop crowds, because he can't do it without somebody who you know what I'm saying? If he's in there with someone who's boring, the match won't be that good.
Yes, and that's a pretty great assessment on that, because just like you said, Matt Riddle, the feud was a little bit decent when you start going into the personal route. When you start poking the wound right there, because there's still a lot of people that don't like Matt Riddle for this reason. But other than that, like you said, the matches always Corbin can put out an average match. That's King Corbin's quality. He can put out a decent match. Mm-hmm. But that you don't go besides decent. A great guy, but Riddle is not. I think that he needed a little bit more. Exactly. More charisma, more story right there. But like you said, it was the falling bro, 1, 2, 3, and see, there you go, Matt wins.
Now, if this would have been him and AJ, match would have been a lot better, because AJ is one of those guys who he can carry anybody. But yeah, like we said, it was Matt Riddle got his pay-per-view win, so his debut win. So that was legit. But what wasn't legit was Baron Corbin just attacked him, and then it was I guess the feud's not done.
Yeah, because see, right there, he's oh yeah. See, there you go. He's happy. He's celebrating. But like you said, he's going to go with backstage interview. And for the ones that want to know, Jean Paul, because Jean Paul mentioned they have finally a new interviewer. We don't know what happened with Sarah Shriver, and we don't have with Mackenzie. I think Mackenzie is for mostly NXT. But this girl's name is actually Elise Ashton. So that's the name of the girl. So you said, she's interviewing Matt Riddle, but right away King Corbin attacks. And then he beats him up really bad. So you can see that the feud is going to continue actually. Because they were saying, where's Matt Riddle going to go? And even he's saying, I'm finally done with him. No, you're not. Look at this.
Yep.
You just went to Wawa, and then we're just buying some, fruit and, some snacks, and done.
Yep.
That's what happened. So,
and
I hope it doesn't continue.
I'm now done with this program, because it's I don't really, I was excited for it, because it's okay, it's the blow-off. Now, maybe we're going to see Matt Riddle and Sheamus in a legit thing, or Matt Riddle versus, I don't know, John Morrison, literally anybody else. Nope, it looks like it's still going to stay Corbin.
Yeah, it's still going to be this, and I'm not really happy with it, but, that's what we had. At least the bro is still being portrayed decent in the main roster. That's, at least the highlight for us. So now, Jean Paul, let's go to, the Women's Tag Team Championship match, and that is Bayley and Sasha Banks defending against this odd couple, this odd pairing of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. We were just wondering why, but we said yesterday in previews and predictions, thank you for the support on that, we said that we needed these titles to be removed from the Golden Role models, because that's going to be the beginning of their blow-off. And pretty much that's what WWE did it, so we're good. So we know what we're talking about, Mr. Leck. So that's what happened.
Yeah, this was... I won't say it was good because of the outcome, and that's about as far as I'll go. Obviously, we're big fans of Bayley and Sasha, in ring and their new gimmick and the characters and stuff. Shayna's good. I like the interaction with those three. Again, my hate for Nia Jax. I've made it obvious on here. Yeah, she's not good. Everything she does in the ring, she can't sell well. She clearly will take a bump and then fall over. She doesn't make it look believable because athletically she can't. And I mean, just to skip to the end of it, because that's where really all the exciting stuff happened. I love how Shayna had the double submission on them, and then she hooked Sasha's arm, across Bayley's throat. So then it was like, are they gonna tap? Are they gonna fight through it? And the best part was that Bayley was the one who tapped, because Bayley could be like, well, hey, I'm still a champ. I still have my SmackDown belt. Like, what do I care if I tap and I lose this tag belt? But now Sasha. Now, she's without a belt. So then this is, like we said, this is the big explosion. So I'm excited to see, hopefully not on Raw, because they have literally no business being on Raw. But they probably will be, because both of these two women are on Raw. So I'm sure Bayley and Sasha will show up there. But I hope they wait to SmackDown, because that will be at least one drawing factor to get people to watch on Friday.
And that's what they're telling to Jean Paul. Look at Nia Jax. He's like, see, like he's pointed out.
Well, do you have the picture where she was deep throating the microphone?
Oh yeah, that one is like rated R, but like I saw a lot of people were asking like caption that because like pretty much she got really excited when she won. Like Shayna is kind of like Charlie was like interviewing both of them, and Nia's like, what the hell? Is like, who cares? Like we won, and she was like dancing, and then she almost swallows the microphone. I don't know what was going on with Nia Jax, but she was extremely happy. Right there, we got this one.
And she was like Otis.
Yeah. It was like, we will talk about Otis in a little bit, but like, yeah, this is what we got, and like you said, the match was like, pretty. I will say pretty normal, average. Like, okay, yeah, I didn't mind it too much.
Monday Night Raw. I could have saw this on Monday Night Raw.
I really like you said, like the double submission was really good, and it makes Shayna Baszler look like $1 million. Mm-hmm. Why? Because remember, she liked the submission first on Sasha, and then she actually, once she's like locking the hole on Sasha, then she turns Bayley and does the Kira Furo clutch, and then she rolls her to the floor.
Yeah, she had that. Yeah, she had like the first half of like the Muda lock where like she locked the legs. She just obviously didn't lean back and grab the chin, because then she had the Kirifuda on Bayley, like you said. So it was legit. Shayna, at least that's the one thing. You didn't want to give her the Raw Championship for whatever reason. You didn't want her to go over Becky at Mania. Bullshit decision, because Becky just got pregnant anyway. So it's like, so.
Thank you, Seth.
Yes, but not like I'm sure they weren't planning that. I'm sure it was all accidental. But anyway, now.
When you bang, that's what happens. It can happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Now. See now you got me thinking about banging and lost my train of thought. But no,
it's okay.
Yeah, but Shayna at least, she's good. That she has gold on the main roster. So hopefully she has a singles championship sooner than later.
They need to rebuild Shayna, because the last time that we saw a pay-per-view in WWE, and this is something that we never said before, is like Jean Paul and I were actually in it. We were there.
Yeah.
Because it was the Elimination Chamber in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, February 2020, before this COVID and all this pandemic started. So that was the last time that we saw Shayna so dominant. Remember when so pretty much choked out for the other 5 girls and done.
Yeah, even Asuka only lasted like a minute and a half, 2 minutes against her.
So that's the kind of Shayna that you want to bring back, because remember that was a Paul Heyman's project. But then he got a little bit of conflict with McMahon. He kicked him out, and now he's back. So maybe it's like, hey, make Shayna look legit. So that's what we got. And you said that you were thinking about banging. We're gonna actually make your orgasm go a little better. And there you go. He's basking his glory.
There he is. There's Lucius. I did not like this at all, because this
not
is
necessary, right?
This is totally WWE just like the bullshit. I don't know why every time a legend walks on screen, they have to make the current superstar into a mark and just tell us their whole resume. We don't care that JBL is a multi-time WWE champion, and the limousines and we know. We don't care. JBL's not a wrestler anymore. How about you try to get the talent on TV over?
Yeah. Why is this necessary?
Yeah. Shouldn't he have been here's Keith Lee, the Limitless One, the only man to hold the North American and the NXT Championship at the same time. How you doing? and then Keith Lee can be like, oh, Randy Orton, and then JBL can be like, I face Randy Orton, blah, 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 I know how he is, and then boom, that's it. Like, why did he have to suck JBL's dick, and then JBL's like, yeah, blah, 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 and it's like, first off, we didn't need the segment at all, but you could have at least done it better.
I really don't understand the point of this. I'll tell you that much. I really don't understand the point of this. I don't know why was this necessary.
Look at Keith Lee's face. He don't even understand what's going on here.
Yeah, like right there is like, why are we having this? Like why the limited one has to go through this crap? And that takes us like not to the match yet, because we had a match before that, and that was like this match. Sheamus and Big E. The story we said in previous predictions, like they're trying to portray Big E in a big singles push. They're trying to make this guy the NXT champion like he was. Kind of like the first NXT champions, not the inaugural, but because the inaugural is Seth Rollins, but they're trying to get that version of Big E. Mm-hmm. But like Big E refuses to kind of become more like, heelish, or like more like dominant, or like more like a serious superstar. That's the word, seriousness.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no. Me, Xavier, and Kofi, we decided to like, this is how it's gonna work. We're gonna do it our way, and this has been working so far, so we're gonna do it like that. But this match to me is the burial of Sheamus, though. He's a legit character. Sheamus is good. He had like, remember in November when we were covering SmackDown, all these great promos from Sheamus. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna regain like the respect for the SmackDown locker room superstars. This is what happened. Comes back, nothing. Absolutely nothing with Sheamus, Jean-Paul. Absolutely nothing. I don't understand.
Yeah, you could have booked this in a different way, where it, like we said, if you want to have a guy lose but still sort of protect him, you do a roll up. You could have done something where even maybe Sheamus grabbed the ropes and the ref didn't see it. And then, Friday he can be like, oh, fella, you were bullshit. I had the ropes. I want another match. And then you can do something and, I don't know, draw it. But see, even if they did that, Big E would probably just win that rematch. So then it wouldn't be any point anyway. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, what? I don't know what you do with this, because let's say hypothetically they push Big E. He's not going to beat Jeff Hardy. You're not going to do two baby faces. And I highly doubt that they're going to have Roman lose to him.
If they will do that, then it's like, finally, that's a big push for me. That's the upset.
But see, that's what they need to do. But are they going to do it? They literally created a pay-per-view just to get the belt on Roman. You think they're going to have Big E take it off him?
Oh, that's true.
Some people say, Mania, have Big E win the Rumble. That's long-term booking, and I don't think that they're going to do it that long.
And it also, like, it wouldn't, like, I will tell you, it wouldn't, like, feel legit, because, like, that's kind of like what they did with Kofi. Like, the Mania of Kofi and all of that. So for me, it wouldn't be, I cannot get behind Big E, I'm sorry. He's a great athlete. Look at those boobs. I've seen, like, many women not even have, like, this big of boobs.
Well, the thing with Big E, I think he has to be, like, it has to all be, like, very quick. Like, Big E should, like, he would have to be a guy who wins, like how Jinder Mahal won that Battle Royal to challenge Randy Orton, or like Big E would have to be like Mr. Money in the Bank. Like, a slow rise for Big E is tough, because in the back of your mind, well, as soon as Xavier and Kofi come back, they're just going to be together.
Yeah. And see, and this is the only thing that I like, and this was good, because he went right straight to Corey Grace's face. And he was like, for the ones that don't believe in me, for the ones that I want me to change, for the ones that I think that I'm not serious enough, for the ones that, like, just want me to be somebody different than who I am. Here it is. Oh, I got it.
Yeah, he's talking to you.
Yeah, he's like talking to me. I mean, like, right there. Without me, the headset, and without those awful tattoos, and, that awful shirt, and that awful, like, coat, and all of that. And hair and all of that. I don't look like that. Thank God. And I don't care if Carmella doesn't like me or not. But, like, this was good. I see. That's the intensity right there. I mean, to me, change the theme song also, because I go, this is a new day. Yes, it is. That I don't really care for. But I mean, they're trying for Big E. I mean, WWE's trying. If it's gonna go over or not, that's up to the fans. To me, it's not really doing anything. I don't know for you, but for me, it's not.
I mean, I'm fine with the push, but like I said, I don't see him. I don't see anything. The only thing I could see is if somehow Sami Zayn screws over Jeff Hardy, and then boom, Big E versus Sami Zayn, and then Big E's the new IC champ. That's the only thing I could see.
That's a good call. That's why they call you the best booker in the business, because it is true. Like, that's the way that, like, you can actually make sure Big E is like a strong baby face. Or like you said it, make him beat Roman. Maybe not for the title, but at least in the match. and then kind of like feud him right there, like for a number one.
To me, that's like bullshit Hogan stuff. Like Hogan will lose, but it won't be for the title. Or it's like, oh yeah, I'll get counted out, but it's like, oh no, it's legit.
That's the only way to go with it, Well, what do you want me to do then?
That's what I don't know. Like they're really behind this Big E push, but like unless what I predicted in the mid card happens, I don't think the push is going to go anywhere, which is unfortunate.
Yes, so like also like remember what they said about Matt Riddle like beating Baron Corbin. Oh yeah, it's an upset. Like why is that an upset? I just don't understand that part. So now, John Paul, let's go to like what we were talking about. Keith Lucius Lee, his debut on pay-per-view on WWE Pay-per-view, the main roster. Say this was good, and like you said, for many people, shocking. You and me were not good in the prediction because we actually said that it was going to be a screwy finish. It's a DQ. We were going to see Drew McIntyre. We actually don't see the champion whatsoever, but see Keith Lee look really, really good. And Randy Orton is putting over Keith Lee, so you can see that like there's big plans for the Limited one. If there's big plans for Matt Riddle, I think that Keith Lee is probably there thinking of him as the next WWE superstar, main superstar. I think, or in my point of view. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I could see when Keith Lee won clean here in this match, and this match was good. I feel it could have been a little longer. I like in the beginning, Randy Orton gets the headlocks, and he's like, yeah, I'm wearing down Keith Lee. And you see Keith Lee's just like smiling when he's in the headlocks, and then he just bear hugs Randy Orton, and Orton has to let go because he's like, shit, this guy's strong. I can't do nothing against him. And then I like how he did like a back suplex onto the announce table, and then later on, Keith Lee did the same thing to him, like, haha, screw you.
I like the exchanging of chops because he always goes like, and then he'll be like, and then he goes, and then he's like, he's like,
yeah, I love when he did the last one on Keith Lee. He like hurt his own hand. He's like, shit. Then now I feel Orton's was at least it sounded better, but then when Keith Lee does his Grizzly Magnum. And he hits both, yeah.
I mean, walk me through this, Jean Paul. With the magical rope break. That's his like.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't get it. I'm like, what's the grass skirt? What's going on here? I don't know the character's name, but somebody had a screenshot of someone from, I guess, the new series of Dragon Ball Z. He's kind of based off that, so that's pretty cool. At least people aren't going to be like, what's he going to wear, like a grass, skirt every week? No. He got rid of the tennis skirt. The grass skirt was just an entrance gear. We saw the legit shorts that he normally wore in NXT. Yes. He was wearing a shirt, but I mean, if that's what I have to deal with, no baggy shorts, but the shirt, I'll take it. The entrance theme was still, was it even different? To me, it was
a little different, but at least we got to see, Baz in his glory for his Limitless, and then he stopped.
Yeah.
And then, it was a bit Baz in his glory. Then he's like, and so it's like, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a little better, but I mean, he, at the end of this thing, Orton went up for the RKO, and then he countered it, Spirit Bomb, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to kick out, and there's going to be some craziness, because remember, he used to put guys away with that. Yeah. Then he switched to the Big Bang Catastrophe, kind of like that Power Slam.
Yes.
And then it's, now, I don't know if he's going back to the Spirit Bomb, and that's funny because Spirit Bomb, Dragon Ball Z, his gear was based off Dragon Ball Z, legit. So he wins with the Spirit Bomb, and it was clean. And I'm like, okay, is Retribution going to come out? What's going to go on? There was nothing.
Not at all, no.
Yeah, so, I mean, he won clean. That was legit. And see, now that makes me intrigued even more so to watch Monday Night Raw because I'm like, what are they going to do here? Maybe Orton tries to somehow pit Drew McIntyre against Keith Lee. Oh, and speaking of Drew, we should say they did report that he just has like a fractured jaw or something. It's not like brain trauma or whatever. Because they were like, oh, he has a cracked skull, internal bleeding, he could be dead, and it's like, oh my, and then and then Jerry Lawler like just comment, just like nonchalant on the pre-show. He's like, oh yeah, just a cracked jaw, it's fine.
This is what happens, Jean Paul. See, when you go to the bathroom and it doesn't come out right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the face that you're like,
and it's like bask in the toilet.
Yeah, he's basking in his ass right there, But this picture is important because see the face of Randy Orton, Jean Paul. Boom. See?
Yeah.
Right there. Keith Lee is like on the top celebrating, but see the face of Orton. So I think that like they're gonna keep having another match where the rivalry is gonna keep going. What do you do with McIntyre though?
They'll have a match on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, and either Randy Orton will win clean, or Randy Orton will go to like use a chair or some kind of bullshit, and then Drew will come out and save him again. or something. I don't know. I could see something like that, but I definitely think they're gonna have another match. But we'll see. It's tough to say. Like I said, maybe Randy will somehow try to pit them against each other, and then there'll be a triple threat, and then Randy will pin Keith Lee, and it'll be like screw you, or maybe Keith Lee will pin Randy Orton again, and then it'll be like screw you, Drew. Who knows what they're gonna do?
It will be interesting to see what they're gonna do. But like exciting news for Keith Lee because like he and Matt Riddle, at least you see the last two call-ups from NXT have been treated fairly and like with the enough expectations that as fans of NXT we had.
And then you see guys like Ricochet, and I mean, even I would say Andrade. It's like so.
Andrade was for me like it should have been like the daddy of daddies. Should have been should have been Santos Escobar, but like completely done, dropped the ball. Thank you, whoever was in charge of SmackDown at that time, absolutely trash. Not even in the pay-per-view, not even a promo, not even nothing. They were like I guess watching in the Thunderdome. So now talking about Hispanics, let's go and talk about Rey Mysterio and Dominic. And Seth Rollins, because they're all Hispanics. And, well, Buddy Murphy, no, he's from Australia. But, like, see, 3 against 1. So, like, this match, finally, we had a match. No Retribution. So, we don't have a word on Retribution. See, we haven't seen him in SmackDown. We haven't seen him here. So, we don't know really, like, a lot of sources were reporting, Jean-Paul, that, like, Retribution is more like a thing of, like, a day-by-day basis. Meaning that, like, McMahon will come out with something, let's try it, and that's what they will do it. But if he doesn't say anything...
It's so bullshit.
It's like, hey, did you get the gyro meat out? No, okay, well, whatever, we'll go with that. Nobody.
We'll just tell everyone in the drive-thru we don't have it.
Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah, it's fine. It's done. So, like, pretty much that's what we have. But like, this match was absolutely great. Like you said at the beginning, it started out really slow for me. Like kind of like Dominic did really good with like the arm drags. Like he kind of like did a few flips, a few like dives outside, but like he's good. You can see a lot of future in this kid. And we're really excited because Rey Mysterio's legacy is going to be impregnated. It's going to be right there in Dominic. So I really like that. But then as the match kept going, I got more and more excited because they did put on a good show.
Yeah, I like that. The one thing just personally with Dominic, his size, because like even with Rey Mysterio being as short as he is, Rey Mysterio is pretty jacked. You look at him, he's like pretty muscular. I think Dominic needs to add about 30 more pounds of muscle. He looks like kind of pretty skinny. But he's still athletic. The guys still, Rollins and Murphy were selling for him, so he looked good. I think a little too much. I don't think you need to make the kid. I don't think you need to make him look like a superstar, in his second match. He can kind of come from behind and sell a little bit for the heels. But I agree, once this match started going, Ray came in, they isolated Dominic, isolated Ray for a little bit. It was good. The only major complaint I have is at the end when there was a little bit of like this was kind of towards the middle, I think, when Seth was like, "Oh, where's your wife? Where's so and so?" And it's just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like they're just milking it. It's it's like, oh, okay,
Hey, we don't know what to do. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, and then at the end when Murphy was set up in the ropes, and then Rollins came in, and then he got knocked out, and then like Murphy just sits in the ropes, like waiting to eat the 619 for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, really?
That's what it was, like that's the one, and of course they put Murphy there to eat the pin, because they're not going to do Richard Rollins. You always said they always got like Danny Burch or Ronnie Lorcan. They get in matches just to eat the pin. So pretty much that's what they did, and then Dominic actually like was able to hit 619. Then he did the frog splash, and then he gets the win right there. So like you said, pretty much you feel bad for Buddy Murphy because knowing how good he is of a wrestler, but at least he's on TV. At least he's on TV. But at least he's on TV.
Yeah, and I feel like the Monday Night Messiah gimmick is, I don't want to say it's going away, but I feel like there's soon gonna maybe be some dissension between Murphy and Rollins, because even in the beginning of this, he was like slapping Murphy's face. He's like, "Come on, man, we got to get it together." Because like we said, Dominic was looking good in the beginning, but then he was even beating up Rollins, and then Rollins is getting frustrated. And then towards the end of this thing, when Murphy got knocked out, he's like, "Fine, I'll just do it myself. Like, pretty much I don't need you. Like, you're bullshit." So maybe you could see, Murphy might be like, "Well, dude, like, if you're gonna treat me like shit, I'm out of here."
Yeah, I think that's the beginning of it. It's going to be another kind of Bayley and Sasha Banks situation right there. I can see that happening one more time. So that's what we got, but finally the Mysterios get the win. So everybody's excited. We got that one, right?
Yeah, and on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, there's going to be Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Do you think this, like, I mean, obviously this isn't a blow-off to the feud, I guess, but I'm like, why do they have to have a singles match tomorrow?
I know. I was thinking this. I'm like, why do I get to see them, on pay-per-view the one day, and then the next day I got to see the same match again? Because of course, Dominic and Buddy Murphy are going to be ringside. So, that's legit. Oh yeah, Ray, let's do half of the same spots we did yesterday, okay?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's so stupid.
It's just like really. And, talking about stupid, you want to know stupid? Finally, the main event. And, before that, like Paul Heyman, he had like 3 or 4 segments because Kayla Braxton is like, is Roman going to sign the contract? Is Roman going to sign the contract? And Paul Heyman is like, yes. You see how pissed off he is? Right there. Yes. It's like, yeah, he said he was going to be here. He is here. He said he was going to sign the contract. Yes. Is he going to become the Universal Champion? Yes. So finally, we get to the main event, Jean-Paul, and that was like the triple threat match. No holds bar for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman. But see, this match started out just with Strowman and The Fiend. We didn't see Roman at the beginning of this match. So, walk me through this, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, you already knew that The Fiend was going to lose. He comes out first, and then as soon as he makes his way to the ring, the Hardy Boy number 3, Braun Strowman, was already in the ring, but, he actually was Braun Strowman tonight. There was no, tight nipple T-shirt. So, he was beating up The Fiend, and
they weren't going that.
And there was no Roman. And when you're seeing this thing, it's like, okay, Roman's going to come down, whatever. And then they just kept going, and they rung the bell, and the match was underway, and no Roman. So immediately it's like, oh, he's going to come down at the end, spear, and done. Which is pretty much what happened, but there was some stuff before that. So, like, you have the picture here. The Fiend has the mallet, which apparently they call it a mallet. I don't know how true this is, but they never will call anything a sledgehammer unless it's like a sledgehammer. Like, they don't want to, because it's like, like Triple H's sledgehammer, and it's like he's the only one they can call it like a sledgehammer for.
Because
it's like
he's the only one that started that,
Yeah, everything else has to be like a mallet or like they said a club. It has to be something that's like non-threatening. It's like, well, then why even use it?
Yes, and then we got the same spot, Jean-Paul, that we have every single time with Braun Strowman, with the Big Show, with Mark Henry, the same freaking thing has to happen all over again because like Jean-Paul said yesterday, or in the AEW Dynamite review also, when they think that like something works, they're gonna keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it.
But also this is the problem with modern day wrestling. Anytime that's like, oh, no DQ, no holds barred, any type of stipulation, nobody cares, nobody pops anymore because we see them all the time. Same thing with moments like this. You destroy the ring off a superplex, nobody cares anymore. When was it legit? When it was Big Show and Mark Henry.
When was it super legit? It was the first time with Brock Lesnar and the Big Show.
Yeah, that was legit. Yeah. And then it was like, then
time.
Yeah, and then after those two, it's like, okay, you see it again, Big Show, and like you said in Strowman, it's like, So, and then it is, but with this, Braun Strowman could barely climb up to the top rope. He was scared for his life. You saw him; he was shaking. I don't know if he was blown up because his cardio is bullshit or what it may be, but he was like. So it looked like he was terrified to climb up there. He had to wait for Bray Wyatt to get on the second rope to hold on to him so he could climb up. It was just a bad-looking spot. They hit it, ring breaks, and then it's like, and it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
you're just getting ready. You're getting ready. You're like, thank you, Vince, for booking a pay-per-view a week after SummerSlam.
Just
to put the title on Roman.
Just because of Roman. But before that, we got to see this, Jean-Paul. We have the girlfriend of the Fiend. We said our sister Bliss, like we've been calling, we've been actually advocating for that. Since like Paul Heyman advocates, we can advocate as well. So like right there, we got to see like she was watching like her man. I wouldn't be as upset if like she's actually dating Bray Wyatt. I would just say for rank, I will take Bray Wyatt any time of day. But you said, and then he starts beating the crap out of like Strowman, like with chair shots. He doesn't even take his shirt off. That's something to note, and that pisses me off. Is like. He's that legit, and then people wonder why I don't like the guy. It's like he doesn't even get his shirt off, and boom, and then he gets his spears, and the same freaking thing that we've seen for years.
Yeah. So the one thing which I was actually like, oh man, it's You know, they might do what I predicted, the right thing for once. And he got the mandible claw on Roman after these chair shots.
Yes.
And then you're like, no, not Roman's brand new teeth for Hollywood. You don't ruin his acting career. Don't break the new teeth, you know, the little chiclets in there. But thankfully, all Roman's teeth were good. You know, none of the fake. It was all good. And then I think he kicked him in the balls. I think all he did was kick the Fiend in the balls. And Michael Cole's like, it's legal. It's legal. Like, but if that was the Fiend, he'd be like, oh, my God. It's like, you know, of course he had to defend the big dog. So he kicked the Fiend in the balls. You know, sorry, JoJo. Sorry, Bliss. You know, no action tonight. So he's out of this thing forever. Gets back in the ring. One spear on Braun Strowman and done.
And done. Right there. And done. And done. And like I said, you know, like you said it the best. It's like, one, he does, you know, like one spear and done, you know, like, oh, it's legal. Like, they always have to defend him. And then why people saying that, like, when he's on TV, more eyes to the product, but it's not the right type of eyes. People will say, what are you trying to say, Juan? You're trying to build credibility among wrestling. Tetsuya Naito, he got the titles back in New Japan. He beat Devil or Evil. Yeah. He beat Shirai's man, you know, Tetsuya Naito. Like, we all believe in him. We all think he's good. You know, Destino, he hit it like 10,000 times, but at least, you know, he's the champion again. But this doesn't make any sense. We predicted that at least they were going to try to give some justice to the Fiend. No.
Yeah, and what's the Fiend? Okay, how many times can the Fiend lose and be like, oh, yeah, and then Bray Wyatt comes out and cuts a promo about how the Fiend is pissed and like, oh, you know, you shouldn't have done that, Roman. And I'm sure it's going to happen because he's going to say, oh, you know, you didn't pin the Fiend. You didn't pin him. You know, you had to cheat, and you know, he doesn't like that. And then the kids will be like, oh, and he'll be like, but don't worry, it's okay. And it's like, we don't want to sit through 5 more, you know, Firefly Funhouse segments until we get to Clash of Champions or Night of Champions or Night of fucking bullshit big dogs, whatever the pay-per-view's called. Yeah. You know, like, we don't want to sit through that. We're done.
The next stop, Jean-Paul, is right here.
Exactly, but there's nobody else. I mean, the only other person they're really building up babyface on SmackDown is, I would say, Big E.
Yeah, it's Big E against Roman.
And they're already doing it here, and then he's just gonna lose. There's literally no other baby faces.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And, you know, after Road Break, guys, you know, go watch like the day of SummerSlam 2015. How like Seth Rollins and John Cena got their match. You know, immediately following after Road Break. Don't pay attention to this payback crap. But like Jean Paul was saying, it doesn't make any sense. I just like. You are actually putting some sense into this, saying they created a whole freaking pay-per-view just to give Roman Reigns the title. The Roman Reigns agenda is back. It doesn't matter.
You could have.
Heel, his face is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You could have had Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews. They could have had a main event on Monday Night Raw for the title. Made that felt, okay, this Monday Night Raw, I'm going to want to see who wins. Hopefully it's Lashley. You know, boom. You could have done the same thing with the women's championships. You could have had Shayna and Nia show up on SmackDown if you want to do it there. Have it be, you know, just a random match on Monday Night Raw. There was no reason for all this to be on a pay-per-view.
And, you know, your whole summer feud, Jean Paul, absolutely killed. Both guys. Strowman, you know, what was the point of, like, you know, the Swamp House? What was the point of that? What was the point of the Money in the Bank? What was the point of, like, this match with the Fiend at SummerSlam? Nothing, because every time the Romans comes back...
that's the thing. That's the babyface. So what do we... Oh, you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, Vince, you know Otis said... He's like, oh, fuck that fat asshole. Have him cash in and Roman just beat him. And they'll be like, okay, Otis, cash in.
Some conspiracy theories were saying Roman wins, and right away Otis cashes in, and actually he becomes the champion. Because that way Roman will beat him, and the Fiend will be okay. But that didn't happen. You know, like, I don't know what Otis is doing with that briefcase. Hopefully, like, they actually do it in a fashion that he beats Roman for the title. Otis will be the biggest babyface of all time.
There's no way. There's no way Vince would. Like, I mean, if you look at the list of people who have pinned Roman Reigns, you know, there's no. I mean, it's a very small list, but it's like Otis is not going to get added to that list. There's no way.
Yes. So, you know, that's what we have. You know, family, like, this was payback for every single one of you. Thank you so very much for all
this was Vince. This was Vince's payback on us.
This is the payback, for like not liking SummerSlam, which we did. Which we actually did.
It's for not liking Roman. He's like, you know what? You don't like Roman?
That's what you get, exactly. So, you know, that's what you get. So, Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world, please.
You can find us on Facebook under Rope Break. You can find us on Twitter under the OG Rope Break, Instagram, the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best podcast, the best review, the best everything you could ever imagine in wrestling. The
That's
original
right.
Rope
And
Break.
tomorrow we have like Monday Night Raw, all the fallout for like the side of the matches that we have right here on Payback. Like you said, Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. Yay! Let's have half of our match that we just saw right now. Just let's see.
And you know what? I'm sure we're gonna see. We're probably gonna see Bobby Lashley or Apollo Crews versus somebody from the Hurt Business, or we'll probably see a couple rematches. There could even be like Sasha versus Shayna again, and
we'll see recycles. Yeah, we'll see Bayley going against Nia, or like Shayna going against Sasha. But then the other ones will be on ringside. We'll see all of that stuff. So but we will be covering. Jean Paul and myself will be doing the review the day after, and we have all outs to think about. That's the next stuff for Rope Break. Pay-per-view wise, that's we're going to be AEW All Out because Jon Moxley is going against MJF. So that's like next Saturday, and we will have a date with every single one of you. But until then, you and me have one thing that is left to say, and that is.